Okay, so we are now doing the post-game analysis for the Billy weekly 208th Deathmatch final between thwol and fiendmonger. thwol has just won the game 6-1, and thwol is here to join us. Fiendmonger had to leave, so it's just thwol, myself, blockmonoid, and ssmoku, and we're all here talking to thwol. So we can do the analysis. So I don't know, maybe we should see the game from fiendmonger's perspective,
Yeah. I think that's
because
a good idea.
Gives him at least a little of the voice, and we can see his decisions.
Also, I don't think I had so many cards except in the end.
Right. Okay, so you had a choice between the wheel and domestication as the starting card. I would actually do the wheel here.
Yes, probably me too. I think, domestication, of course, is nice if the other person doesn't have two castles, but I
Right.
don't know how likely that is.
Yeah, most likely if they have metalworking or mysticism, or masonry, even they would play it right away if they don't have anything better like pottery or clothing. Yeah. I'll turn off the audio on the moose. So sharing domestication, we both I think thought was reasonable here, because most likely if you melded mysticism, you might have another purple in hand, or you have something junky, and so why not get extra cards?
Yeah.
Okay, so you got masonry. Oh no, he got masonry right away.
Yeah, I got ores.
Okay.
So that was a nice war using the castles. So the right now the advantage is on your side, well, but then it switched to fiendmonger and then again to you. So it was a competition, castle competition.
Yes.
Yeah, we were surprised all the castles came out very early.
Yes.
Yeah, so now there's not many castles for fiendmonger to have for masonry, unfortunately.
Yes.
Okay, and so yeah. At this point we started wondering whether thwol, whether you would share mysticism and hope that it covered up something like the wheel or domestication. And your castles don't get covered up, and then you could use ores. Because fiendmonger's hand just kept getting bigger and bigger. So here now you drew, and then you got agriculture, but later on it was definitely, in my mind, it was very tempting to share mysticism.
Yeah, so here the agriculture meld was essentially because I'm a coward. I was just worried that clothing will show up eventually. So I was like trying to.
I think that's it's pretty smart, because clothing does come up. And why not have an extra, all the colors out? And this did discourage clothing from coming out, actually. So we actually thought that was fiendmonger. I said, like, let's do a wheel to get rid of the last one, because the last one definitely does not have castles.
Yes.
I thought wheel at least gets that 1 and a 2, and then you could use metalworking. He did domestication to get rid of that last one, and then did metalworking. And unfortunately, metalworking didn't work here to get any score.
Yes.
So it's an interesting case when you are already in the second age and no one has even scored 1 point, 1 point, and but yeah, the agriculture was possibly the best solution right now to get the achievement next round.
Yeah, so
Yeah, also, Also, I mean, you already knew it because there were we already know there were no more castles in age 1, but I put back writing so that the metalworking couldn't work.
Right, exactly. So you stopped
Mm.
metalworking. Yep. And
Yeah,
I
and
assume
my other
he's,
one was pottery, so
yeah.
I was quite happy.
Yeah, we were wondering who has the pottery in his hand, and well, there was a bigger chance for the fiendmonger to have it, but he didn't play it, so it means that possibly you had it in your hand.
So at this point, he's drawn, he did the wheel, and he has now 3 twos. None of them have castles. None of them have castles, and so metalworking really should work very well right now if he uses metalworking. But
It
unfortunately,
didn't. Yeah.
it didn't. It's really frustrating. I'm sure he was
Yeah.
very frustrated here.
Yeah.
So you have all castles in your hand, among the twos, thwol, and then those remaining twos are also castles.
But the fiendmonger got the mathematics in his hand, and we're wondering would that be the best time to play the mathematics next round, share it possibly, but get higher cards. But he didn't use mathematics, well, and then he got out.
So right now, given what he has in his hand, he definitely should have done metalworking, because those twos are all castles.
Yes.
That's 6 points right there, potentially more.
Yes.
And we were very confused why he chose
Mhm.
calendar over mathematics. That just really kind of
Yeah.
surprised.
Either leaves, I guess. Maybe that was the
Possibly, yeah,
Yeah,
possibly.
but in the game, I was saying that doesn't stop you from using agriculture. You use agriculture, you share it. He scores, you score, and then you
you
get a
draw.
card as a bonus, and you're like, oh, that's great for agriculture, and you share it again.
Mhm.
Yes.
You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
and you're already ahead on score, so you're just gonna keep going ahead.
So I think this moment playing calendar instead of metalworking or possibly playing mathematics was the first turning point in this game, because that was just empty move, did nothing good, and you get the fiendmonger has lost his chance to maybe turn the tide on his side by scoring quite a lot with metalworking.
Yeah. I mean, because the only other two that's left that doesn't have castles is currency.
Yeah, which which would also help. So, of
Yeah.
course, yes, that's true. I mean, that's one of the nice things about metalworking, both in age 1 and age 2, is that it can help you find pottery or like currency. Like it makes you faster in doing that.
Yeah, and it helps you deduce what's left,
Yeah. Yes.
and I mean, you should know, how many cards in each age have castles. In age 1, it's half of them, and or even more than that. Age 2, it's exactly half, and then
Mm.
age 3, it's 4 out of 10.
So I would ask Fiendmonger, of course he's not here, but ask Fiendmonger why didn't he use metalworking, and possibly that he already used it twice previously and didn't score even 1 point. So so he assumed that, okay, I don't want to use that card anymore. But I think, well, in the end, if you have used metalworking twice and didn't work, then the possibility of working the next turn is increased, because that's how it works in most
Yes,
cases.
yes. It's yeah, it's not like physics, where physics, if it fails and then it fails, it's gonna fail. Metalworking, if it fails and it fails, it's gonna almost surely work the next time. Yeah. So this is unfortunate. Yep, and there are castles. He would have scored road building, fermenting. thwol, what
Yeah,
did you remember what
and I
you
also returned monotheism, so it was 6 points.
Yeah, that was 6 points. Okay.
Yeah,
And then
here I made a mistake because like I mean, maybe it helped in the end, but I did it for the wrong reason. I thought he might have construction, and after I melded map making, I noticed that construction was in my score pile.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, we were wondering, when he had put down masonry later and he was putting things down, we were wondering if he had construction in his hand, and then it became apparent that he didn't. So you must have had it at some point. Okay, so finally pottery comes down, and you're happy with that because now we're basically age 3. So with pottery, you're
Mhm.
scoring 3 each time. And you have the leaf advantage. And this is a tough situation for fiendmonger because fiendmonger can't really meld a red, a green, or a yellow because then ores could potentially take over.
Yes.
Well, he could meld red, the road building, and then use the road
Right.
building to melt archery and cover the ores. That was the first moment for him to turn off the ores.
Yeah, yeah, he had to solve the ores problem, and he missed some opportunities. So here for thwol, we thought, sharing mysticism again. I kept pushing this idea, share mysticism, cover up some of his castles, and then ores him because there was definitely a lot of juicy
Mm.
all right, so he, I think, does masonry now. Okay, and he gets monotheism, and then he uses masonry and he melds all 5 castles, and we felt that again was not quite the most accurate play. So we would have kept archery,
Yes.
because
That's,
that road
that's a
building
nice.
could send archery over and cover up ores, or if gunpowder comes out later, cover up gunpowder, and so and you keep road building that way for
So in
later.
this case, the archery, which is in most cases quite well, not the best card, but in this case, like ace or joker in your hand, because you could, using the road building, you can, like you said, cover the ores or possibly the gunpowder in the future. So it worth to have something like archery in your hand
Yes,
and keep it.
I agree. But
Okay.
I think road building is sort of a difficult card to use
If you don't
if
have experience
a
with
bit
it,
of experience to see what it can do.
yeah,
Mm,
So
that's possible.
you drew a 3, started on the pottery train.
yes.
Um, so now looking at Fiendmonger's hand, another possibility that you could have done here is meld canal building and then use city states to steal something, steal a crowd, and then that reduces thwol's crown advantage and makes ores ineffective.
Exactly.
So you mean castles? Or...
Yeah, sorry, his castle's advantage.
Mm, yeah.
And even, I mean, one option here would be to use road building and meld mathematics and canal building, and then do city states, um, and steal something, most likely mysticism. But having that available to you is good.
Mm,
Because ores was just this noose hanging over Feedmonger's neck, and just needed to be solved, uh,
yeah.
because it really constricts your play a lot. And there
I-
was another opportunity a little later in actually just a turn or two where there was an interesting play here as well. So he does wheel, and yeah,
This
okay,
is the moment. This was the moment of our
this
mistake.
was,
Yeah.
yeah, forgetting about ores. Um, and I was so sad because mathematics was in his hand. Uh, it should have been on the board instead of calendar. Um, Okay, so ores gives you 18 points.
Yeah,
And
actually, at this point, I think he still had a chance with like maybe using road building to meld both engineering and alchemy.
that's what we were suggesting. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
because then he would like I would have like 3 empty spaces, and like clothing would get really a lot of points quickly. So
right. So, but you did as your second action something that got a second card in your hand. So road building is actually shared here. So we were wondering if you did road building and it was a share, you meld your two cards and then
yeah.
you send ores over and steal clothing. And now if you do the engineering and alchemy trick, you're killing at most one card. You're killing
Yes.
mysticism if you're lucky. So it actually, it fails because it's shared in this case.
Yeah, the only the only thing is that you don't know my cards.
Right.
So cards were translation and and printing press.
Okay.
Oh, okay. All
But
right.
even so, even if you melded translation and printing press, right? Then you send ores over and steal clothing, and then
Yeah,
fiendmonger can't send ores back and steal clothing and get engineering on the board all in one action.
yeah, that's true. That's true. But I just that I was sort of sweating a lot. Like also I didn't realize that road building would be shared. So like I was thinking if now engineering comes out, I have to come up with something.
I mean, well, one option is actually just
Mysticism.
meld.
I was thinking mysticism just
Uh-huh.
to like cover something, and because in any case, like I was thinking, I mean, I already have 23 points. Like it's such a big lead. It's just a matter of not making him come back too quickly. Like,
Right. So I mean, he could just meld engineering and use it to display his reds, and then say,
yes, yes,
you better cover up those cards, otherwise they're getting killed, and then clothing comes into play.
yes.
Yeah. Um, and in which case, probably you'd be sharing a lot of mysticism at that point.
Yes, like mysticism until the the how do you call them, the priests die, or like
Yeah. Okay, so uh, he drew colonialism. Yeah, and so here, road building again, you could send colonialism over and cover up ores, and then fermenting is free to draw a lot once you meld reformation. Yeah, and so he melds reformation to get the leaf advantage, which
yeah.
is good. I mean, that's one of the things that he should do to make fermenting powerful, but ores needs to go away.
But I think fiendmonger have meld reformation, then prepare to use the reformation to split the colors and get the castle advantage. He did that lately, so I think he was thinking about this particular move in the next round. But yeah, that was not the best possibly move at this point, because he had the option to use the road building and cover with ores with colonialism. And then we're thinking that the only chance, because the difference in the score is 0 to 23, so the only chance would be seek for the statistics as soon as it's possible and use the statistics to lower the score. But yeah, first you need to take care of ores.
Yeah. So here, achieving the 2 and the 3 was very safe and good, because the dangerous cards are in the 5s, not in the 4s right now. Gunpowder's already gone. So fermenting would only get him the 4 4s. and then you could use mysticism to get a 5 out first. So, or pottery. And so yeah, now start cashing in on your score advantage and just wait.
So I think I wouldn't go for the achievements. You know me.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
Achieving it for lesser people.
yeah, yeah. You know my strategy. If there is a better move than achieving, because achieving is just a wasted move. Always you can do the achievement and then you get one. And in this case, two moves are wasted because you did well. In my opinion, it's wasted because you didn't do anything then except for achieving. But I would see in this situation that I still have a chance. Of course, it's in some cases the chance is lost. And if fiendmonger would be able to score quickly, maybe he would steal one achievement from me, or maybe two. But yeah, always thinking that if there's a better move than achieving something, then I would do that move and wait for the situation when when in some cases you would like to do just one move because you were wondering or giving the initiative for the opponent to do something. So that's the perfect moment to do like one achievement and wait for the opponent. Yeah, but that's my point.
Yeah, but I think what I agree with, like I thought if like I thought about if there were other options, but as Paul said, the like this position is sort of nice because even if he draws 4 cards, like he cannot get, like will be a big problem, as you said, is statistics. Like that's how he turns it around, right? So if I start removing cards, then he has a chance to get statistics.
Yeah.
Instead, right now he can get it, but he needs 2 actions, and then I'm in a better position later. Like personally, from here, like pottery, I thought was not a great idea because he could return a lot of cards, and like stay in the force and maybe make me score only a 2 or something like this, which so it wasn't really.
Yeah, but I think that will all just delay because with this delay, well, you're scoring or you're achieving because the well, fiendmonger needs to score somehow, and because he has zero score at this point. So the basically in this there's a very this is a very well difficult situation for him. Yeah.
Not definitely like it's, I mean that I think as he said he was like sort of nervous for the game and probably
Yeah.
flopping and it was just a miscalculation in that sense, and then you find yourself 0 to 23, and there I don't really know, like as you said, like there were some things that could be done to block ors after that, but like,
yeah. I said when we were commenting that this is an innovation, so anything could happen. And I saw the games where you got ored, and well, or possibly I got ored, and I was still able to win the game, but it all depends against who you are playing. So in this case, he was playing against you. So I didn't think that there's probably only theoretical chance to for him to win, but in practice, well, I didn't see a way that you will just do so many mistakes to still lose this game.
So I thought here Reformation twice was I didn't really like that move very much because it got rid of his entire hand, including engineering.
Maybe that was his way to protect himself against ores and get rid of the cards from your hand. But it's a bad way to get rid of that.
Yeah. I mean, if he just did it once, he could tie, and that would maybe be enough to protect against ores. Or he could have just done Reformation and tucked all those purples that he tucked, and splayed purple, and then done Reformation a second time, kept the cards and then just played yellow, and then he would have the castle advantage. But he'd still have those 4 cards in his hand, including engineering, which could be used to kill off some things.
But what
Actually, he would have only 2 cards left, no?
Right, 2 cards left, right.
Cards,
So he
yeah.
could tuck colonialism. Okay.
I mean, not a big loss. I think
Right.
a great team move.
Well, I agree with thwol when because if we are playing live, it's almost like we are playing a real-time game. So it's a lot different than you when for the cases when you just have enough time to think about each move and give enough give yourself enough time for it. So here it's possible that the fiendmonger didn't see all the possibilities because the game was possibly too fast for him, and he has not enough experience to know all the possibilities right away.
Right.
Yeah, also, I mean, I hope it's clear that we are highlighting that things could be done better, not to say that he played poorly, but just to help people to see what options were there. Like, it's not that
Exactly.
we are
Right.
bashing him for like.
Right. He's not a 100, right? He's
No, I mean, he knows what
not
he's
making
doing.
silly moves. He's making sensible moves, and the error that the fatal error with ores was one that is easy to make, where you forget for a moment that you really need to have this priority of not falling victim to ores.
That's a great lesson for the future.
Right.
Possibly after that game, he will be watching the board more, with more cautious when the ores is on the opponent's board. Then you have to watch it.
When you have a big hand early in the game, the 2 fears are ores and machinery.
Yes.
And you just always keep that in mind. Like, am I vulnerable to either one of those? Watch out,
Also, I wanted to say just one more thing. Like, actually, after he played clothing, I was like, now what can I do? And then randomly my eyes fell on the icons. I said, wait a second, 5 to 6.
Yeah.
So
it was a surprise for you too.
Yeah. Like I didn't immediately see that the tables had turned. So
I missed that chance at least once, or I think a lot more times than once. When I got the advantage to use ores or machinery or something like that, because I assumed that the opponent is aware.
Wouldn't make a mistake. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Of course, he will not make that mistake.
Yeah, but that's interesting because those are the mistakes that aren't basically mistakes if the opponent didn't use that mistake to his advantage.
I
Sorry.
was playing someone in arena yesterday, real time, and I had sanitation out and the lead on leaves, and then they did electricity and drew all these 8s into their hand, and I didn't even think like, oh, like I could just steal all those, Surely if
What?
you drew so many juicy cards, you wouldn't draw them when I could steal them so easily. I totally missed that. But yeah, if you're under time pressure, it's easier to miss these things.
Sorry, I just want to add one thing of why maybe Reformation the second time was also a bit of a mistake, because okay, the score differential is very big, so like it's not that you can it's hard to gap, but having the empty hand that makes sharing pottery even better, because like I just give him 1 card, I score and draw 2, and so like like if you have at least 1 card in your hand, like you can at least get some points, which like here probably wouldn't make any difference, but in other situations might.
The scores were closer, yeah. So here, I think we were debating whether you would achieve the 4 or whether you might share mysticism. And I totally missed that you could share pottery and then he would still end up with a 4 in his hand, and you'd end up with 5s, and that was actually the safest move because you draw 2 5s, and so you're increasing the chance that you get statistics out of the way.
Yes, which I did, by the way. I was really lucky.
Okay. So you drew statistics here.
Yeah,
Okay.
and also here was sort of a bit of a trick. I was saying I had to choose between giving him enterprise or navigation.
Mhm.
And in my hand I had translation.
Uh-huh.
So I wanted to keep and I had all the colors except purple.
Yeah,
So I
for the
wanted, yeah. So I
yeah.
was like, okay, this enterprise has to stay in my hand. And then I thought, okay, navigation is like, okay, you can steal my cards, but at this point, navigation is slow compared to how many points you can get with pottery.
Yeah.
So
So
in some sense, it was like a Trojan horse. Like if you want to use
Yes.
navigation,
And it
please.
worked. It worked because
yeah,
the fiendmonger has played navigation and
yeah, he
used it.
played. So we thought he should do fermenting and draw 4 5s and hope that one of them is statistics. Which, given what we know about your hand now, it was a losing proposition anyway. But yeah, navigation's a little too slow here because you're stealing 2s, but pottery will score 5s. It's not fast enough.
Yeah, that would end up screwing up my plan for translation, but I thought that like since I was getting so closer to 6, it wouldn't be a problem anyway.
Right.
So we are suspecting that you will probably get the last achievements, like some of the special achievements, and you confirm that you had this translation. So it was still a very good tactic for you to just to get the 5th achievement and then try to use the translation to win the game and forget about the 6th achievement, because fiendmonger didn't have a chance right now to get scores to 30.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there was a call on the fiendmonger's board. So the call is always dangerous because it can uncover some nice previously played cards. But yeah, it wasn't. There wasn't anything that powerful
Yeah.
on the board.
Mysticism was great. Got the 6s into your hand, and now it's over. There's literally nothing he could do at this point, because statistics is not that 5. We knew you returned that 5, and so you with pottery, and so it would not be something useful. You would not have returned statistics. And then sadly, vaccination. Yeah, if there were only 2 yellows in his pile instead of 3, he could have hoped, okay, maybe I can do coal for those 2 yellows, and if vaccination was tucked, then I could use vaccination. But I think even then, the icon count, you'd have to score fermenting, and so you'd be down to 6 leaves, and you already had 6 leaves, so it still wouldn't work. But
Yes.
that was really the only hope at that point.
But you know that this way of using the call is, I think it's a bit of sophisticated tactics, because not everyone knows about it, that you can do it. But, so we are talking about it a lot, commenting the games. But I think that when I'm playing with other people, that many people are missing this opportunity to use the call in that way.
Right, to tuck a new age and potentially reveal a new age while scoring.
So many use cases for the call.
Yeah, I think part of the problem is that people value icons a lot, and sometimes they don't see, like they say, they start thinking, oh, I don't want to get rid of my cards.
Yep.
No, like personally, I like points, so like I have to like refrain myself from completely erasing my board. Just once more.
So that's it. So that was 6th achievement, and yeah, so ores really changed the game there. There were some other, moments where things could have potentially shifted back, but they didn't quite work out. Especially with, statistics would have been nice, but it would have been the only hope.
I think we should share the link to the commentary or to the fiendmonger, so he will have a nice lesson to learn what was his mistakes. He probably know about his mistakes, but he should probably learn what was the best moves for defensive moves right now to what we have mentioned on the commentary. So that would be a great lesson for him.
Well, we're gonna post both of these onto YouTube, and then post the links on the tournament page. So, all right. Well, thank you both, and congratulations again, thwol.
Thanks.
And so I'm gonna stop the recording. And
yeah, I just wanted to thank you both for the commentary. I'm really grateful.
It was nice. The game was very quick, so it was, like I mentioned, not 2 hours of commenting. But of course, when we have that previous time, we got 4 people commenting, like Block has mentioned. So it's a different, almost like watching a football game, commenting football.
Yes.
Game. But if we are only 2, so the quicker, well, maybe not the quicker the better, because I think that this game was too quick, because there was this big difference made by the ores. So I would love to comment a game where there are which is more balanced. Like you all know, I love the balanced game. Yeah, but it's when you get ored, there is no balance anymore.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you both, and I'll post these a little later, and see you around. And
Yeah,
congratulations.
see you around. See you next time. Bye, guys.
Bye.